About 5 years ago, I made my first and probably my last weighted lap pad. I made it for my clients back then. And the stitches may not have been perfect, but I was able to use it a lot. So it was great. But before we start, you may be asking, what is a weighted lap pad? A weighted lap pad is usually a piece of cloth that is less than a size of a pillowcase with weights inside it, distributed evenly, that provides deep pressure stimulation when it is placed on the lap for a certain period of time. Now, what is deep pressure? Deep pressure is a calming sensation often used by occupational therapists to help children with sensory integration or sensory processing difficulties. It is the same sensation used by weighted blankets, which have been really popular recently. However, it is important to know that when using weighted blankets, lap pads, or compression vests, the ideal total weight should just be between 5 to 10% of the child's body weight to be effective as a source of deep pressure stimulation. And there are a lot of websites, like Amazon, where you can buy these weighted lap pads, but here in the Philippines, there's really nowhere to buy them unless you import them. So, it was easier to make one using locally available materials. The very first step in making a weighted lap pad is to prepare everything you're going to need. This is the cloth I used to hold the weights of the lap pad. I cut them into rectangular strips of cloth around 3 by 9.5 inches each. Next, I folded them in half, with the wrong side of the cloth on the outside, and so just the two sides. I did that for all of the rectangular strips of cloth. Next, I trimmed all the excess threads to make sure they were clean. Next, I turned the cloth inside out and made sure to fix the corners. Next, I prepared the weights that I was going to put inside those pouches. I decided on using these small pebbles that I bought at our local gardening store. I washed them in soap and water, and I also boiled them just to make sure they were clean. I waited for them to dry up before putting them inside the pouches. I borrowed my sister's weighing scale, which unfortunately had a lot of stains on it. But since it was still working, I didn't have any problem with it. Make sure you know what your child's weight is and then multiply that with 0.10, and that number is the maximum total weight that you should put into your lap pad. Divide that total weight by how many pouches you have, and that will be the weight for each of your pouches. You can round the number up, but make sure that the pouches have the same weight so that the weight is distributed evenly. And make sure that the total weight does not exceed your maximum total weight allowed. I used a funnel to get the pebbles inside the pouches faster and easier. And then secured the end of the pouches temporarily with a pin so we can easily sew it later, just like the pouch on the left. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film how I prepped this outer case. But this is actually 2 pieces of cloth that I've sewn together and also divided into 3 rows. You'll see here where the pouches will be placed, and then I'll show you how to add just 3 at a time and then sew the first column or separator. I folded the ends of the pouches so that we can make sure that all of the pouches can fit the case. After the first 3 pouches were inserted, I marked where I should sew the separator. And then we'll insert the next 3 pouches, and sew another separator. We'll continue the process until we've placed all of the pouches. Make sure to secure the edge of the case. It was harder to sew the cloth because the pouches aren't flat, so my stitches weren't straight. But the lap pad still turned out great, and my clients really loved it, especially when they need additional calming sensations during tabletop activities. As for the schedule of putting it on the lap, it usually depends on the child. So ask your occupational therapist about it. Often, I would ask the child to use it for just 5 minutes and then take a break. And then put it back when the child requests it. And then you can gradually add more minutes if you can see that it helps the child. Don't forget, always ask for feedback from your clients. If it doesn't help them calm down, there's really no need to use it. I hope you enjoyed our video for today. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and kindly consider subscribing to our channel. Till next time.